Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Sedro Woolley Rotary Club, the greatest club in the. We have an invocation by Steve today.
Today, we pause to acknowledge the blessings that grace our lives, from the simplest joys to the most profound experiences. We are grateful for every moment. Let gratitude fill our hearts and overflow into our actions. May we express our thankfulness not only in words, but also in the way we live, embracing life with a heart full of appreciation.
Amen. Thank you. The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And back to Steve for the song.
You're on.
Okay, let's. Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody know Jingle Bells? Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Good job.
Thank you. Do we have any visiting Rotarians today? Do we have any guests of Rotarians? Oh, oh.
I have Niall with me, my master chainsaw carver. Niall.
Welcome, Niall. So we're pretty light on club business today. The only thing I really have is that we have a board meeting on January 9th. The Janicki office is at 5:30. Anyone is welcome to join us. And the next thing that we have for club business is the election of our board officers. So, Mark.
Madam President,
Madam President, I move that we accept the board nominations on the list we have on our tables as is.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second on the floor to approve the nominations as the elected officers. All those in favor? Opposed? All right, well, Teak, Ellen, Travis, and Becky, and Lynn, Steve and Sheena, welcome to the board. Well, thank you for being retained. We're just gonna zip right through. We've got a raffle.
A raffle. All right, so. Get the first one. We got four. We got four today. This one is 50, 5-0. 5-0. That yours? There we go. Not rigged at all. It just appears that way. All right. Where's she going to land? Where's she going to land? Winner picks table to pay $2 each.
All right, the back table, you throw out some money there. Ken Van Loo, I'm the Sergeant at Arms today, but can you collect money for us? All right, the next one is 1919. See, what's he gonna take to share with his wife? All right, we got one more. All right, and number three. There we go.
It's a lucky table.
All right, there we go, madam. Got raffled
All
out.
right, well, let's move on to Sergeant of Arm and Happy Bucks. I
Right,
think
right.
we should throw in New Year's resolutions too.
That's kind of what I was gonna kind of go for with the Sergeant at Arms today, so perfect timing. So we got a couple of things here. Frank, are you listening there on the screen? If you can give us a thumbs up or something. There we go. Hey, I'm finding Dan $1 for not being here. If you could collect that for me. Ken Van Loo, that'll be $1 for being Ken Van Loo. Yeah. And I was talking to Tomash before the meeting, and he doesn't have a button. He said it's not his fault. And I can't remember who he said we should blame, but I think it's probably going to be his sponsor that we have to blame for that. So I think that's going to be $1 for his sponsor here. So since we're at the last meeting of the year, we are going to kind of go to each table and talk amongst yourselves just for a minute or two. Does anybody have any epic New Year's Eve plans? And if you'd like to share, and then also if you have any New Year's resolutions that are going to be something you want to share with the club. I'm going to share mine first, and I'll pay $1 for my New Year's resolution. I went into my doctor here a couple months ago, I guess now, and he says, well, if you keep going the way you're going, you're going to die earlier than you should. You're going to have to change your diet. So all of this good food that Cheryl has been feeding us, I'm going to have to lay off of most of that and start eating a much healthier diet because my wife wants me to live longer because she doesn't want to mow the yard later. So that's going to be my resolution. We'll start off with this table. Do we have any epic New Year's Eve plans that anybody would like to share? There we go. We got Chris first.
One of the things that Ash and I do every year or throughout the year is we have a jar of just kind of happy thoughts and good things that happen to us over the year and special memories. And we write them down on a little piece of paper and throw them in this jar. And so every New Year's Eve, right at midnight, we pull out that jar and we reread every little slip that we put in there over the year. And it's pretty cool. So if you got kids or interested in doing something like that, it really is kind of special going back and looking at all the cool and pleasant things and happy thoughts that you have over the year that you may not have remembered. So.
All right, perfect. Anybody else at this table? All right, that'll be $1 for nobody else volunteering. All right, this table next, we got anybody volunteering for their epic New Year's Eve? David, you don't have anything epic? You'll be in bed New Year's Eve early. Yeah, okay. There we go.
It is rumored in our family, because we are going down to Seattle, that there will be a proposal in my family on New Year's Eve. So we are looking quite epic for my son and his future fiance.
Congratulations. Anybody else at this table? Nothing else? Yeah, everybody's gonna pay $1 anyway, so you might as well kick up $1. So, all right, our table. Don't be taking my dollars. Yeah, okay. Bill's got one.
I'm not doing anything, but I want to just say what my
My resolution is the same as it is every year, is to lose weight. And I've been so successful in the past that I figure I've lost over 10,000 pounds in my life.
Perfect. All right, got this table over here. Jeff?
Not really a New Year's Eve, but on New Year's Day, I'm going down to the Winter Classic to go watch the Canucks and then jetting home to watch the Huskies on TV. So it should be a pretty good day.
Got it. All right, we're going to go to this table last. Does this table have any epic New Year's Eve plans or resolutions you'd like to share with the group? Not really. All right. We got boss lady.
I am going to Canada this weekend with my mom and my aunts and my cousins. And then we're coming home New Year's Eve to play a card game with everyone that we left behind. And then I too am hoping to watch the Huskies win so that they can move on in the college championships.
All right. Doesn't sound like anybody's going to be rioting in the streets or doing anything crazy. So, but hopefully you're going to spend the holidays with family or friends or snoozing away, letting the new year come in, whether it's going to do it or not. So happy Bucks.
Does anyone online have New Year's resolution or something crazy they're doing this weekend? I guess not. Okay.
All right. Now we can move into happy Bucks. I got a 20 just because I had a surprise visitor this week. My son-in-law gave a call and says, Ty isn't feeling good. Can you take the boy for the day? And I had some plans in the afternoon, but my wife was home and we split the duty and had a wonderful day with a supposedly sick child who built the tallest ever Lego tower that was about this tall. He didn't appear terribly sick, but we wanted to make sure we were doing things to keep him healthy. So we played Legos all day. That was a wonderful day. Anybody?
So I've got a happy $5. My nephew Blake Gurney is in town. And the other day, his girlfriend from Arizona flew in to meet the family. Her name is Victoria. She's a med student. She's going to be a pediatrician. And she is just delightful. We're just so thrilled and excited and happy for this wonderful couple.
John.
So we got the certificate of occupancy in our building 10. They're full speed ahead and the parking lot's full and they're building like crazy. We finished up the lobby area just now and commissioned Niall to do a carving thing, and Louis Requay donated a whole bunch of logging hand tools and stuff and things. And so we made this sculptural thing, which turned out really, really well. It has 5 bears climbing this tree with either cutting the tree down or one that's on top. And anyway, I'm hoping that we can maybe have a board meeting up there or something and use the conference rooms and check out the thing. But it turned out really well and the break rooms were all really good. Now the next step is I've got a couple people working on artwork there, and we're going to blow up some really large logging, old-time logging pictures from the turn of the century and try to get some photographs of Hamilton, anything to do with that area. So if people have connections or sources on some of the little history upriver, we're going to just embed that into the. I got a lot of wall space to do, so it should really look good, and all the wood, of course, looks beautiful. So very happy how it turned out, and I wanted to give Niall a shout out for all that carving that we did. That he did. I didn't do any of it.
Yep. Here we go, Carl.
Well, and these are a couple of sadder bucks, but the water industry took a hit this week. A guy named Steve Holzman at the State Health Department got hit by a bike or on his bike and got killed. He'd been working for the State Health Department for 38 years. And he was the biggest water nerd I've ever met. And he was in a good way. And he really protected the state of Washington. And I'm sad that he died. And it's just really sad, more so, because he was right at the end of his career and ready to retire. And then the other loss that we had this week is Greg Paterka died. And he spoke at this club before, and he was the manager at PUD for like 30 years. And so, anyway, just want to recognize those two.
Thank you, girl. Anybody else? Oh,
I'm just happy we'll make it here in person. I've been on Zoom quite a bit, and our daughter's in preschool, and fortunately our pickup time is right at lunch, so it's tough to make it over from Anacortes with that going on right now.
welcome. Anybody else? Oh, Louis.
Well, I have to say that for Christmas, my wife gave me this sweater. Now, this is a late 1930s Boys in the Boat authentic sweater. Also in my stocking was 3 tickets to the Boys in the Boat movie. It was for Josh and my grandson, Mason. And the reason I got these was because, and many of you already know, in the mid 60s, I was a coxswain. I just gave $9 to Steve over here. Now you think, well, why 9? Well, there's 8 guys rowing, and then there was me. And I was about 116 pounds then. I weighed a lot less then, but, and we turned out, to give you an idea how grueling that sport is, we turned out every single afternoon, fall, winter, and spring. And we only missed 1.5 turnouts, the whole 3 quarters. Mostly because of wind, because we couldn't get to the floating bridge. But I would highly recommend that you go watch the Boys in the Boat movie, because it's pretty authentic. I was surprised by how well they did that movie. And if you have a chance, go to the Montlake Cut during the regatta and watch them race, because it's pretty exciting to see all of those 8-man shells and the little guy in the back leading the cadence. Thank you.
All right. Oh, Chris.
I'm going to give a happy 10 because we were actually able to do a combined family Christmas this year. So out at the big house in Acme, we were able to get Dad and Marcia and my Aunt Judy, and actually my mom came out and my ex-husband came out, and it was just great to have all the exes together and everybody having such a great time, and it was a really blessed night, and we only had to do one Christmas that way. So yeah, nothing like combining families and everybody getting along.
All right, last call. Anybody else? Madam President?
Okay, well, we're really lucky today because not only was Tomasz able to join us, he's going to give us our new member talk today. So I don't know about you guys, but I found out about 20 minutes ago that for the past, how long have you been in the club? 4 years, 5 years? I've been saying his name incorrectly. It is Tomasz, not Tomas. So I apologize and welcome you to the podium.
All righty, as she said, I'm Tomasz Benchik, and I was the first Zoom inductee into the Rotary Club in 2021. I've actually been scheduled to do a presentation for the new member talk about 8 times and got bumped every single time. So last night I got a little worried when the power went out and I heard there was flooding in it around Anacortes, that now the roads were gonna get in my way to get here to talk to you guys. So anyway, a little background about me. So title it Mugload to Skagit County. So let's see if I do this right. Yep. So I was actually born in Hungary. So I was in a small town called Mugload, which is about 30 minutes by train, but hour drive from Budapest. It's a pretty small town. When I was born, it was still a village. So it was a big deal when they finally got to the status of town, when they crested 10,000 people. But it's very similar to Carnation or Duval. So small city center, a lot of sprawl and farming community around it. So just some pictures of the hometown. The one on the left is the house I actually grew up in, and then just kind of the main downtown street, and then just the surrounding farmlands. It's up to 12,000 now. So, but it's kind of being so close to Budapest by train, it's getting a lot more. Some of the homes are being taken down and townhomes being put up. So it's starting to get oddly modernized for still being very farming focused. So most of my family is there. I came here with just my mom. So upper left is my dad's side of the family. I have 3 half siblings from him and my stepmom, and then my cousin and aunt and uncle in that photo as well. And yeah, there's my mom and my dad. They had me in their teens. That didn't last very long, so hence why I came here with just my mom. But yeah, there's my 3rd birthday, and then that was our kind of first Christmas together. And so us leaving Hungary was us going on vacation, because at the time, Hungary was on the wrong side, if you will, of the Berlin Wall. It was under Russian occupation. So you could really only leave for 2 weeks at a time legally. My mom's boyfriend at the time in the white shirt, he'd been in the Special Olympics when it was in Chicago, I believe in 1977. He's legally blind, and he'd experienced America and convinced my mom that there's a better future for us here. We need to figure out a way to get to America. So I think she was 21 at the time, and then her brother's the tall gentleman there, and her and his girlfriend, the 4 of us went on vacation in Germany and put in for political asylum, and were granted it, and were able to stay in Germany for 15 months while getting our application in to come to the United States. My mom had a nursing degree, and then her boyfriend was a physical therapist masseuse, and I was the only kid out of the pool of 20 families that applied. So on their point system they used, we had the most points, and why we were granted asylum into the United States. When we were living in Germany, we actually lived near the Nymphenburg Castle. So they just put us, the government housing was basically like any apartment down the street. It wasn't anything unique or different, but it was a couple blocks away from this castle. So every time we go back, we go visit there, and we actually get this exact same photo. My wife and I did the same thing too when we went on our honeymoon. So just a little family tradition of just kind of, little mark on our history. But my uncle, he still lives in Munich. He wasn't able to come out, and he's a character. So back in my early 20s, he got me a crown to wear, and I had to pose for the photo for him. And then as far as getting into the United States, you had to have a sponsor. So our sponsor is actually the Downtown Seattle YMCA. So they picked us out of all the families that were coming to the United States, and found us housing, found us jobs. So I actually stayed in my first week in America was in the Downtown Seattle YMCA. So I remember vividly waking up, turning on the TV and seeing Sesame Street for the first time. And then marching down the street to get every vaccination for the 3rd time in my life. So that was quite the first few days. And then we ended up living in Capitol Hill for the first year, and then moved out to Kirkland area afterwards. We connected with the Hungarian American Association of Washington. There's about 5,000 members. So they do a lot of cultural events. They have Christmas gatherings. They have a Saturday school for kids to continue learning Hungarian, or if they don't know it yet, to learn it. But we met Christina and Steve there when the first picnic we went to in the first year we were here, and they took us in as adopted family. So they've been essentially my grandparents here. So you can see there's all of us kids together, and then that was a couple years ago at our wedding. So it was nice. As far as moving on to college, I ended up going to Washington State University, getting a degree in mechanical engineering. I actually got a scholarship from the Skagit WSU Alumni Association. So my wife and daughter and I have been going to all the alumni events here, watching the Coug games on the weekends. Our little daughter's all into Coug stuff now, so that's great. And then I married my wife, Katie, in 2018 on St. Patrick's Day. So we got married at Chateau de Lille in Woodinville, it was very, very good weather that day. So we were very fortunate because it was raining in the morning, and then it just got beautiful and clear for us for the actual wedding and ceremony. And then right at the beginning of the pandemic, literally the day they announced people at Swedish in Issaquah, we were leaving, they were coming in. Our daughter River arrived. So we actually went to go get my wife her medication at Bartell's and had no idea what was going on. Everyone was masked up. We needed the essentials. We needed toilet paper. We're bringing a new baby home. And so it's been quite the journey for us as we kind of navigated through that. Obviously, we're still living in Redmond at the time with the desire to move up to Skagit County. That took a little longer given the time frame than we wanted to. But she is turning 4 at the end of February, so she's doing great and just a bundle of energy. Well, and then I mentioned getting up to Skagit County is partially Carl's fault. I was working at Kaufman Engineers, and Kaufman had joined up with Carl, and there was an opportunity to come up and help the office, and we're living east of Redmond, so it was actually getting to a point where the commute to Seattle was worse than driving up here. So I made the decision to come up and work with Carl, and that was great. Carl decided to move on, and I have also decided to move on. But it was a great opportunity to come up here, and we really like this area and the community, and it was a place where my wife and I wanted to raise a family, and we knew the Seattle area wasn't that for us anymore. So Carl actually that first year invited us to the Rotary auction. So we had a good time meeting some folks and just kind of getting to know the community better. While we're still living in Redmond, I was a member of Leadership Skagit, so greatest class ever, 2021. And my other kind of connections to Skagit County, while in college, I was on the solar power race boat team, which basically made a solar power canoe. And I didn't know about Janicki Industries back then, obviously much more familiar nowadays. But Janicki actually donated the mold for us to make the canoe. And I did probably 80% of the fiberglass work on that canoe. So it was kind of fun. And the team did really well. There was like 6 people that actually went out to, I think it was Minnesota or somewhere, to do the race and got, I think, 3rd place. A bunch of teams that were from MIT and all over the place. So it was pretty cool for a first-year team. In my previous 2 jobs ago, I actually designed the expansion and renovation of Cascade Middle School. So I was up here quite a bit during that time. And then recently worked on the B10 building, which was absolutely amazing. And I just love that photo, so I had to put it up there. And then 2.5 years ago now, my wife, River, and I moved up to Anacortes. We're actually trying to move by Big Lake, and we're going to have a home built, but we had some issues with the developer, and anyway, eventually got our money back, but ended up just jumping on a house. We couldn't be happier with the house we got, but it wasn't our original plan. We planned on being closer to Sedro Woolley in this area. And then there's, River in Leadership Skagit with me. She was having a good time being in Zoom meetings, would always wave at everybody. And that's my quick summary of me. So, thanks.
Did anyone have any questions for Tomas? Tomas?
Yes, yep. That he does. Yep.
Would you kind of give us an overview? We read about Hungary being aligned with Putin and Russia.
Sure.
What are his feelings living in Hungary?
The news it's controlled much more in Hungary, and politics in general much more filtered on the information that gets to people. So it's just the entire war, everything is framed differently. They frame it more along the lines of, because Hungary used to be much larger. So parts of Ukraine used to be Hungary. So to turn people against the Ukrainian people, they highlighted things that happened in the past to the Hungarians that lived in that region. So it's a bit more of a hot topic to discuss with them when they get a much narrower lens. So.
Well, when I was at Kaufman, I was managing the office there in Burlington, and I was floundering a little bit. I had too much going on, and when I got the word that Tomas wanted to come up, he was the president at one point of the ASHRAE, which is the heating and air conditioning group, and I think I had actually been to a meeting with you down there. And we worked together on a couple projects, and I thought, wow, this is going to be great. He's going to replace me. I love this. And so we didn't quite work long enough at Kaufman for that transition to happen fully, but that was definitely the plan, is I wanted him to take over the HVAC and plumbing part, and he's doing great. He started a company with Nordtech, and it's, what is it called?
JTK Engineering.
JTK Engineering, and I recommend all of my referrals that I'm going to ever get, I'm going to send them right to Tomas. He's a great engineer. So welcome.
Thank you, Carl.
You mentioned that you worked on the Cascade Middle School renovation.
Yep.
What company were you with at that time? And then
I was at Hargis.
Where's that?
Hargis.
And then you guys were a subcontractor of Hawthorne Hagen. Is that how that worked?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I did the boiler at the high school. Yeah, boiler and all that. Yeah, the HVAC upgrades and all that fun stuff. And all the troubleshooting for the boiler turning off. I was right from the start on that. No one would. Great, thank you.
Well, he's too quick. I'll just give him his world famous Rotary pin. Oh, also, Tomas works very hard on the auction committee, helping us get sponsors. So he has a very important role, not only in the community, but also in our club, because he helps with that important sponsorship gathering. Thank you. Okay, well, does anyone else have anything for the good of the order? Well, thank you, Niall, for joining us again. I can't wait to come. John, you're going to have to let us know when we can come have a board meeting so that we can check out that awesome artwork. Yeah, I hope that everyone had a Merry Christmas and that you have a safe New Year's. With that, I have a lovely New Year's Eve joke. A woman took an afternoon nap on New Year's Eve. When she woke up, she told her husband, "I just dreamed that you gave me a diamond ring for a New Year's present. What do you think it all means?" He replied, "You'll know tonight." At midnight, her husband handed her a small gift-wrapped present. Excited, she opened it quickly, but was even more surprised. In it was a book titled The Meaning of Dreams.